Someday, when I'm awfully low and the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you. Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I am coming at you today with a Earth 2 update video. Thank you guys for helping me get partnered with YouTube. Thank you guys for literally everything that means the world to me. And you know what else means the world to me? When you smash that like button, when you comment and you use my referral code down below, Patreon down below as well, in the description, and the comments. Well, referral codes in the comments. Anyway, guys, I cannot say thanks enough. So here, and shout out to Guidebook Gaming that always shouts me out on their stream as well. Earth 2. Can we count on you to make videos in E2 about the Earth we're leaving behind? Meaning, in Earth 2, will I make videos about our Earth here to keep you all updated on current events and stuff? For those of you that don't know, I actually used to do certain videos like that before the Earth 2 movement happened. It would be Pokemon, it'd be Tesla, and then it would be either a podcast type video or it would be my thoughts on any type of current events. I will continue that in Earth 2 if that is demand, because apparently I'm confident you'll be a trusted news source. So this is something I do try to be very in the middle of, both sides. Like when I did that house video yesterday, for those of you that saw it, I said, okay, well, even though I don't believe that buying a house is as good as taking that money for a down payment and investing that wisely, I also went over like, okay, here are some reasons why it's okay to buy the house. And at the end of the video, I even put like, well, if you're going to buy a house and you do this, and this, it is so worth it. But again, just my opinion. I always do both of those, so I will do that if that is what people want. What you want, I shall give. In the Warring Worlds, will there be melee weapons as well as long range? This is very, very interesting because I don't think it's just as simple as just that. I mean, we can if we want to break it down, like, explain like I'm five, from Reddit. It would be hella cool if not only, there were long range weapons, like there were snipers, there were rocket launchers, we go James Bond in this, but also if you could learn hand-to-hand combat, if your avatar could learn, like suddenly it goes from long range stuff that, oh, Lord of the Rings, Swift Justice, XXXX, like, whatever it is, like that would be so insanely cool if you could have swords in here as well, elven blades, you have bow and arrows, it's just timeless. Like that is just so cool. I would love for that to happen. Or maybe they would have arenas like, okay, in this arena it's going to be paintball. In this arena it's going to be Lord of the Rings type, Game of Thrones type weapons. And then you have actual like, okay, desert. Here we go. Like this is war stuff. That would be great. But also, if you can do that, if you can have long range weapons as well, there's no reason why the aircraft that you can create to carry resources from one place to another, there's no reason that you can't outfit those aircraft with weapons. Now, I'm not saying you could put, rocket launchers on them or, have guided missiles underneath. Oh, the circuitry is so insane. But you could just put guns on there. You could put weapons on there. Again, this is going to be something where Warring Worlds might not be E for everyone. Warring Worlds might be M for mature. They could be, if someone could create a mini game, like saying, okay, you know what, go back in history, and here is not the Lusitania, what's the one, the blimp, I forget what it was called, where the guy's like, oh, the humanity, I'm not laughing, not the Challenger disaster, but if you could, Hindenburg, if you can take the Hindenburg and say like, okay, now your job is to escort the Hindenburg, and I don't think it was shot down, I think it was just, whatever, accident, explosion, but if you can escort certain planes, especially cargo planes, like if you're carrying resources from one area to another, because the developers, I think Wolfgang had said himself, we won't be able to carry everything in a magical sack, a magical endless list of inventory. So you might have to have transport. Again, there'll be portals, but if you can't transport all the portals and you don't want to go back and forth 100 or 1,000 times with all your stuff, load it all up into an aircraft, and then you could hire other people. Say like, hey, you guys are like the R-Wing, Star Fox R-Wing. You guys are amazing. You are like the Red Tails from history. You are Star Fox. You will not let my ship go down. by pirates or whatever. That would be a cool, interesting part of the game. Um, and then just hire other people to protect you. That could be cool as well. Again, and that's just in the air. That's not including any type of ships. Like you could have battleships, you could have submarines. Just all of that could be so insane. I'm so here for it. I'm so ready. Will land income tax stop once all tiles are bought, or will it continue through resale? That is actually a very good question. Why I have purchased a lot of land in areas that are huge, like America, Russia, Brazil, India, China, South Africa, Antarctica. I haven't done Canada. I should. I just haven't. Why I've done that is because a land income tax, when it does run out, it won't be for a long time. Again, the developers had said that you're not going to have a hi. You guys should see my girlfriend right now. She looks so amazing. No, I will not show you. Yet. No, they're. Sorry, she made me lose my train of thought. Yeah, when land income tax does end, is because every tile will be bought. Most likely, those places will be bought last, just because there's so many tiles there. Russia and Antarctica, same. But that's what I would. And again, I'll go over this in another question that I have further down the line. As far as resale value, no, we do not get land income tax from resale value. Once a person sells a property to another person, just because the reason we get land income tax from people buying from the game is because the game is getting all of those, like 100% or 90% of those funds. If you put $1 in, the game gets 90 cents of that. You know, you get 5% if you use your referral code. I get 5% if you use my referral code. And if a resale, the game is only making 5% of the profits. So if you bought something for $10, sell it for $100, or and then okay, so that's $90 that the game that is profit. 5% of that has to be taxed. That's like $4.50. Yeah. So you're not gonna the game's not gonna give land income tax based on that just because it's so small of a thing. Moving on. How will a Biden/Democratic presidency affect Earth 2? Okay, so if anyone remembers some point last year when Mark Zuckerberg was brought in front of Congress, and it was crystal clear that no politicians in the US understand anything having to do with technology, I kind of think this will be something similar. You know, yeah, some politicians, they kind of fear what they don't understand. But I think this is just so under the radar right now that no one's really paying attention. Even Bitcoin, the U.S. hasn't done anything as far as saying like, oh, we're banning it. I mean, it's not like Venezuela where the president, heckin' Maduro, where he tries to ban ban cryptocurrency and ban mining of it. I think other places have tried to do that too. It never works. Places like China, though, their politicians are very technologically not inept. Let's the opposite of that. They're very literate, so they would understand something like this. But even if, let's say Biden, because he has the House, he's got the Senate, and obviously the presidency. Even if he decides to raise taxes on small businesses from 21%, let's say it was 35% when Obama was in. Say he raises it back to that, or even meets somewhere in the middle, goes up to 28%. That doesn't affect this Earth 2 game, which the company that owns it is based in Australia. So that the Biden presidency, I don't think will really have anything to do. I think what might happen is because Biden has such a very aggressive policy on, and I went over this in my Tesla video the other day, two things that I think he might have signed yesterday or is going to sign today about wanting to conserve 30% of America's forests and lands and waters by 2030, again, an executive order. And the other thing was making sure America is going to be running on 100% renewable energy by 2050. That, in turn, might affect how people play the game, just because if the world is going there, slowly but steadily, definitely this game will be ahead of it, just because of the way the developers have it, and just the way that people in general are going. People are always going to be well before government. People, things happen with people before, well before the government is trying to even catch up. So that's the only way I think that would really affect it. Um, yes. All right. Will phase two make it easier to sell? It's hard to sell right now. Um, okay. Yeah. So right now, the only reason it's hard to sell, which I agree, which it doesn't affect me because I just don't sell. Um, phase two will probably make it easier to sell because you have resources that are spawning everywhere. So if you couldn't sell a property before, because again, right now the only thing you can do is buy and sell land, and yeah, if you have a class three property, which doesn't generate a lot of periodic credits, as it is now called, then you're just not going to have a lot of people buying just because it doesn't really get them too much. But once resources start popping off, I think a lot of people will say like, "Oh, I can make more money with this. I don't have." Again, there's going to be short-term flippers. There's going to be people that are just like, "Oh, I bought here. I'm going to sell here," and I'll just repeat the process, do it again each country, which is fine. That's a strategy. That's not one that I ever employ. What I always do again, buy and hold. A lot of the a lot of the wealth transfer, not just in this game, not just in Pokemon, not just and everything, is the transfer of wealth not from the poor to the rich. It's from the impatient to the patient. That's how it's always happened. That's how it'll continue to happen. Again, if something changes, I'll completely let you guys know. Um, Again, there's reasons why uh, I have as much money as I do right now after being next to broke out of the military a few years ago. Um, will it be easier because it's hard to sell right now? Yeah, because land's not really doing much for you outside of land and income tax. That's why I'm not selling. Where's the best place to buy to make more money? This is such a. I get this question so much, and I don't really go over it because we don't know right now. Short term, you're gonna want class one, and you're gonna want someplace in a big country because that's gonna generate land income tax. Again, this is short term. Um, if you're gonna buy something, I would say go to the marketplace because the marketplace has people trying. Again, it's hard to sell. There's a lot of people trying to sell, so it is a buyer's market. Go to the marketplace and buy something, even buy class two of anything, and it's going to be 40% off. Let's say it's worth X amount of tiles. Let's say it's worth $100. You can get it for $60. So I would not buy anything from the buy land from the drop down menu. I would go to the marketplace and buy it just because of that. Obviously, make sure that the prices are correct and you're not overpaying for anything and there's no glitches. But that's what I would do. I would buy in a big place like U.S., Russia, and Antarctica. This is probably the best bang for your buck right now, in my opinion. Earth can't fit into perfect squares. Some squares will not be 10 by 10. What of those tiles? What happens? Okay, I guess somebody did the math, and they said, okay, well, if you do Earth in perfect 10 by 10 tiles, there's going to be a few that are not going to be 10 by 10 tiles. If that is an issue where I don't know how many of them would be that way, it would probably be very, very few at either the top or the bottom or the sides, wherever it is. I'll take them. Why? Partly just because some people will just be like, oh, well, this is unfair. Okay, well, now I'm buying them. What are you going to say now? And then also because they're unique. There's something that is very few of, and there's something that is like, oh, hey, I have these tiles. There are collectors out there for everything. I've seen this in Pokemon. There are collectors of Rattata. There are collectors of Bidoof. There are collectors of Hoppip. These such weird, strange Pokemon. It's like, what? They're not good in battle. They're not like their evolved form. Yes, Jump Hub's pretty good, but you're not gonna. There are collectors there for everything. Once there are collectors out there that say like, "Oh, you have these tiles there are only a certain amount of because of the way the earth." That's amazing. So yeah, everything is about long-term holds. Everything's about buying unique things. Again, that's just my train of thought. Um, where would you buy right now? Probably Antarctica, just because that's Yemen as well. But Yemen's not really a big country. Yeah, I would say Antarctica. Um, and then also, it's not a bad strategy to say, hey, you know what? I'm getting land income tax. I'm getting referral code money. I'm just going to keep it. And then just this case, when phase two rolls out, and we say, oh, we can get resource generating land here, here, and here. It's not a bad strategy to be a little liquid and to say like, oh, all right, now I can employ a couple $100, and that's going to be a better bang for my buck because I know what's going to spawn resources and what resources are spawning where. Versus I'm just going to buy wherever right now. Not a bad strategy. I'm going to buy 60 tiles in Brazil. Where would you buy? Um, if I was buying right now, I would definitely do the Amazon. You could obviously do a couple of things like Rio de Janeiro. You can do the capital of Brasilia. I think that's still the capital. You could do, but I wish I had bought more of the Amazon. Um, Partly just because I don't think I'm even going to do anything with it. I think a lot of it's really pretty, and I want to buy a bunch of it, and I just don't want to change it. Like there's a place where I live on Long Island where there's a preserve. Um, yeah, I just bought a lot there just so I was like, okay, well, no one's gonna build on this now. Um, yeah, I wanna do that and just not build. But again, that's something that might spawn resources. I think the Amazon, yeah, gonna spawn wood, gonna spawn something. That'd be so cool if you could like train. Somebody asked, I didn't even write it down, but I just remembered it now. Will there be wild animals in the game? I hope so. I hope you can tame them. I hope they can be part of your party or pack. I hope that you can. There are wolves, and that you can use those wolves to be like, it could be like 130,000 years ago or 50,000 years ago, whenever we start to domesticate wolves, and be like, here's some meat. Stay close to the pack. Warn us if there are any hunters. Protect us from other wolves. Here you go, meat. I That'd be great if there was, especially if you can use them in battle. Okay, wolves are a big target. Bears, elephants, big targets. Hard to take down, but they're big targets. What would be insane in Brazil is if you could get mosquitoes that have West Nile and just go in, or what's that? What Ebola, and you could just release them into somebody. And how are you going to combat that? You can't shoot a mosquito. Maybe you could train some bats. And when I say bats, I don't mean like baseball bats. I mean like bats, Zubat, Golbat, Crowbat. They eat mosquitoes. Maybe you can get a bunch of spiders, and that would just be so cool. It would get so crazy and convoluted because it's just people gonna be using animals for everything. But that would just be so fun. That'd be so cool. I would buy in Amazon. That's what I'm doing. What are you doing with your oil refineries? Yes. So the developers, again, just going over this again. People ask me this every video. Guidebook Gaming in their stream 2 nights ago had said that the developers had said, do not buy oil refineries. They did not say that oil won't be part of the game. What they basically just said is oil refineries will not spawn oil. So what am I doing with my oil refinery that I have in Brazil? I'm going to keep it. Why? One, because it generates a little bit of land income tax. But why else? Because I actually want to buy more oil refineries now. And people say, Chavez, why? They just said don't do that. They said don't do that if you want to spawn oil resources. I want to do that because, again, I want to change this virtual world. I want to change the world. I want to get those oil refineries and then put wind farms there. A bunch of wind farms, wind panels, solar panels, windmills, and solar panels. And I want to be like, okay, yeah, well, this used to be like a place of black oil and death, and coal mines that do that as well. But now it generates sustainable energy. I want to do that. I want to, yeah. So that's something that I want. Everyone else, comment any questions you have for me. Please like and subscribe. Comments good for the YouTube algorithm, and that referral code does mean the absolute world to me. I love you all. Class dismissed. Meow. Meow.